Hello and welcome, you gorgeous people. Happy Christmas, by the way, and Happy New Year and all of that as well. If you celebrate that, and if not, happy everything, happy life. Today I'm going to continue talking about what I was going to talk about in the last video, but I talked too much about Anne with an E. Now I'm going to talk about happiness and some insights that I've had. I'll tell you all about it on the other side. So while I was out running, I thought, why don't I do like a bit of a life review? And with my clients, what I do is I take their emotional pulse, and so I get them to like look at the life and say these words and see how true they are. Yeah, things like I love myself and I'm a good person and I deserve a good life. And I just did a little bit of an emotional pulse on myself, and I asked myself, okay, so Gordon, because you're allowed to talk to yourself, it's good, obviously, when you're alone. Don't do it when you're with other people, because they'll think you're mad. But you can talk to yourself. I said, where are you, Gordon? So we're going through stuff, and I said, what about your happiness, Gordon? Where are you? And I scored myself 7 out of 10. And the other ones, I was really high, everything was lovely, but happiness 7 out of 10. And I was quite disappointed about that. And I was thinking, 7 out of 10? Where's that 3? When I asked myself, because you're allowed to do that as well, what's the 3 that's missing? The answer was, it has to do with fear. Fear of the future, fear of what's coming, fear of the unknown. And we know that fear stands for false expectations appearing real. So it's false expectations, but either way, that's what was missing. It was like a little bit of trepidation for the future. So I thought I would ask the emissaries. I thought, well, I'll ask the emissaries and see if they've got any advice for me. What's going on? Why aren't I 10 out of 10 happy? And they said, you're living in 3D. You're living on the 3D planet, or whatever it is, disc. They said, don't think that you have to be at 10 of happiness when you're here all of the time. You can have moments, but you're going to have ups and downs. They said because, and I thought this was a good argument. They said because if you think that you should be at 10, or you want to be at 10 of happiness all of the time, then it's probably best not to come here. It's best to stay where you were beforehand. Because up there, yes, it's all lovely and 10 of happiness and beautiful. But here it's not. Here it's tough. And you know that. And I know that. So I thought, okay, well, fair enough, yeah. So I'm not going to be at 10 all of the time. And I know I have been, I've had my moments when you're in your bliss. When you're doing something that is your bliss, it's like 10 of happiness, isn't it? But it's not a constant 10. But that's okay. So I asked them, I said, so how do I deal with these kind of things? And this is something I'm going to come to when I do the next video. They've been leading up to this place, right, which is really interesting. But they said, what you've got to do is this: when these things are happening to you, when you're feeling these things, then what you have to say is, you just have to ask, what am I learning from this situation? What is it here to teach me? Because remember, if you think about it in terms of the whole plan of why we're here to learn. We're here to have experiences and learn from the experiences and become more. So when negative stuff's happening to us, or when we're not quite feeling right, this is a lesson. This is something that's coming for us to learn from. We've got to learn from it. And so their simple advice was, you ask, what am I learning from this? What's this here to teach me? Why has it come to teach me? Why is it here in my life? Okay. Obviously on a like 3D level, that's taking responsibility for you. When you say, oh, this has come into my life, why is it here? What's it here to teach me? I don't think we need to say, I've brought this into my life. All right, but even so, in terms of the plan, we probably wrote it into our life, but it's kind of more like more useful, instead of saying I brought this on myself, oh my God, is to say, oh right, so you're here, what are you teaching me, what have I got to learn? And I think that's going to make a difference in how we approach stuff that happens. And they were kind of suggesting that we've got a big job to do, right? There's this big job coming up, and in the next video I'll tell you about the job that they've given me. They've given me a job, okay, because of the big job coming up. So, but this is part of it. This is part of kind of starting to learn from our negative feelings, learn from ourselves, okay, rather than running away from it or bemoaning the fact. It's actually just looking at it, looking at the monster in the face and saying, what are you here to teach me? What are you here to teach me? Yeah. So I asked them also about the Great Awakening, and they said this, and again, I'm going to tell you something in the next one that was said, and it was like, what? They said something else. What? What do you mean? What, can you just back up and just expand on that a little bit? So they said that we've hit the tipping point on the Great Awakening. Remember, we're talking about this coming. We've hit the tipping point, and it said that now they said it's going to be downhill. Like the flow is going to be downhill. So that's good. And they said that the baddies now are going to be present. They're still present, but they're going to be present, their words, the emissaries' words, to watch their own demise. That's what they said. They're here to watch their own demise. It's like our time. Their time's over. They've had their time. Now they're going to watch themselves collapse, flop. Yeah, like that. They said that they're going to create kind of, we've got flow, right? And they keep showing me like this flow of water, I suppose, energy or whatever. And they said that the baddies are still going to try and build dams, but they showed me the dams. You know, the dams that we used to build at the seaside with sand, and then the water would run across them and then just disappear. And that's exactly what they showed me. That it didn't stop anything. They were just washed away. So this is something that's very much a shift in the way that they're talking about what's going on. It's like almost dismissive. They're almost dismissive of the baddies. Like, no, they're just gonna. That's it. Because we hit the tipping point. Because we're in the age of light. We're moving to a different place now. So it's done. If you know what I mean, it's done. It just hasn't reached its finale, but it's done. Okay, so that's good. So I asked them. I said, "Where will the baddies go?" Because there's a fucking lot of them, isn't there? Where will they go? And they said some will just leave, whatever that means. Leave the energy go. They said some will convert to goodies. Yeah, and we're going to have to forgive them. All right, I know it's going to be hard, but were you a baddie? Now I forgive you. I just needed to slap you first, yeah. And then they said that some will go into hiding, and I thought this was really interesting. I said, so where are they going to hide? And they said they'll hide in plain sight, but they will form secret societies. And they said, not like the secret societies of today, because they're not secret, but they used to be. In the Dark Ages, they used to be, like right at the beginning, they were secret, and little by little they came out. And what they were saying was, in the Age of Light, they will hide their badness, but they'll be getting together. And they said the societies will be, they'll be getting together not to take action, but to make plans for the next time that they hold sway again. So it's that yin yang, isn't it? You know, even though we're in the Age of Light, and it's going to get more and more beautiful, there's still going to be a portion of badness. There has to be, for that balance. And that's these secret societies. But fortunately, they won't bother us. They'll just be sitting there going, yeah, hubble bubble, boiling trouble. When we get back to power, we're going to do this, this, and this. We won't make the same mistakes again. That's what they'll be doing. They'll be like rehashing everything that went into, right, that was bad. That was a really bad idea that we did that, We brought that COVID in too quickly, and then we tried. It was, what it was? It was the COVID. Then it was bringing out the monkeypox. That was, and the war as well. It was all too much. That was the only problem. If we just done it a little bit more, So that's what they'll be doing, like reviewing and making new plans for when they come back into power. Which they will at some point, but in a long, long, long time. So that was the message that they give me, and I'm feeling a tremendous shift, not here, but in with them when I'm communicating with them. It's almost like they don't want to talk about that anymore, like this bigger fish to fry now. It's like we're moving into a new stage, a new part, which is fascinating. So I'll keep you posted, yeah? So anyway, thank you for being with me, and I'll see you all later. Bye-bye. I love you all.